Welcome, visionaries. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. And today I thought we'd talk about the idea of connecting with opportunities in the external world using your limited circle of friends and acquaintances. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on this, but I've had to rely on this method more so than any other to make positive changes happen in my life, because I don't know if you're the same as I am. I know we have the extroverted feeling function, which enables us to network with people, but there's also this double alienation thing. There's also this knowing where we're just basically at a deep foundational level coming from a different place than most people. And although, as I pointed out in broadcast after broadcast, we're not that alien or different from people. We eat food and we sleep, and, we want love and positive attention and meaningful work and all of those things. Everyone wants that, regardless of their personality or feeling of alienation. But the alienation's a real thing, I think, when it comes to connecting with the masses, when it comes to um, projecting yourself to the masses. And this is one of the reasons why I've referenced this in other broadcasts as well. Everyone thinks that guy that ran Germany during World War II, it was an INFJ, but my belief is that he was more like an ENFJ or something like that. I don't think an INFJ would be able to do those sorts of things. And people have responded, what about Gandhi, a well-known INFJ? And I'll say, well, if you think about it, Gandhi was responding to a societal ill, and he became the face of a movement for, to correct an injustice in the world. And that's a little different, I think. Anyway, I do believe as an INFJ you can make huge things happen in the world, but it's not going to be second nature to us. I think making plans and schemes and having an idyllic vision of how reality could be, that's talk about second nature. That certainly is. So anyway, getting back to making something happen, because you want things to happen. And I mentioned in a previous broadcast, this is your year to make things happen, INFJ. Get time to get off your duff, and don't worry about the fact the world's on fire. It doesn't matter. The world's always been messed up. If you look at your history, it all depends. If there's a war going on where you live, your life is messed up. You're still going to want to make stuff happen. So let's just focus on that, because we want things to happen. So what do? Well, first of all, you need to have a friend in the real world. But this would apply to your online existence as well. The thing is, though, what is it you want to happen? What is your goal? Let's say you have a talent or ability and you want to make that your predominant living. That was certainly a goal of mine, and I accomplished that goal, and that's one of the highlights of my life. you know. And I did it through a very limited circle. I just happened to know a good friend that I'd had since childhood, and not the one I separated from. Although this other friend I'm referring to, we went 30 years or something like that, until he just moved away and things became too. Gonna have a sip of this sacrificial mead, if you'll excuse me. Anyway, he helped me get into a situation that was available, and it was a dream come true, and it was wonderful. And now I had to be ready when the opportunity came. I had to have the work, and I had to have the ability to do the job, and I had to have the desire for my life to change. What I didn't have was a huge network or some of the credentials that other people that were applying for that job had. But what I did have was access to that. And I think, I have been accused by a friend of magical thinking, but just look at the thumbnails here. Look at our images. I don't mind a bit of magical thinking. I think much of life cannot be rationally uh, explained. You can come up with rational justifications for anything, but whether they actually truly explain the phenomena of life that can occur and synchronicities and opportunities that manifest out of nowhere. That's happened to me repeatedly. And so, how do you maximize your potential for that? Well, you start with your whole network of beliefs. You've really got to start examining the deep held beliefs you have that are limiting you from your success. Okay, and you've got to own up and take responsibility for your lack of success up to this point, and not in a negative way, just in a like this, because uh, justification is like the path to obliviation. It's not where you want to go. It's not how you want to be. You want to be somebody who's able to use their immense insight and power and ability to manifest change in this world in a focused and positive way. That's who you want to be. And the way to do that is by, first of all, believing that you can do that in the world, and that even if you don't have the ability some do to broadcast with a super broad net, that you trust that the universe will provide the opportunities to you, assuming you're first of all ready to accept those opportunities and responsibilities that come with them, and that you really, that's what you actually want, and it will actually bring value to not only your life but to existence itself, right? So look at those limiting beliefs and don't justify them. You just take them in and look at them and say and examine them and say, well, is this a belief that's limiting me? Here's a big one for us. I think as INFJs, this we're the secret victim of the external world belief. Okay, that is definitely a problem that your friend, the visionary dragon, has had, and it's quite easy for those of us that are able to look at the big picture to find a million cracks and fissures in the nature and network of this reality matrix. And we can find ways very easily to justify just about any shortcoming. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just focus, okay? And you might say, well, I don't want that. And in that case, that's fine. You can just work on your philosophy. That's fine too. I'm not saying that making things happen in the external world is the be all end all, but I do think it's because of this extroverted feeling. It's this need for acknowledgement. It's not just enough to create. I think there are some types that can do that and they are feeling fine, they're feeling good. But I think when an INFJ makes something or builds something or has an idea, they're not going to be content with just sitting there and knowing it and putting it in their notebook and just saying, that was a good idea. Are going to want to see it manifested in the world. And yeah, first of all, start by believing that you can find ways to manifest in the external world that may be quite alien to your way of thinking, but you've got access to a whole network of intuition, and you have access to a network of people that's more than you know. It's important to be able to put the word out when you are looking for certain opportunities, or most importantly, let the universe know that you're open to the possibilities and that you're willing to change in accordance with circumstances should great opportunities present themselves. And also, don't be afraid to jump. Why not? Live life to the fullest. And until they come back on another day, keep on keeping on, INFJ. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on.